So welcome to JG's Fight Talk Live. This is brought to you by Rich's Boxing and Limitless Creations. And with me now, I've got Roddy Doran. How you doing, Robbie?
How are you? You okay, Joel? Roddy, not Robbie, Roddy.
I said Roddy to begin with, and then I said Robbie. Here
No,
we
it's
go.
all good. All
What a
good,
start,
Joel.
mate. What a
Nice to
start.
meet you. Nice to meet you.
All good, mate. Really good. It's been a long time coming, this one, hasn't it?
Yeah, we spoke to each other a few times, and a few weeks ago we was meant to do an interview, and something was busy, and we're here now today, so that's all that matters.
Oh, that's it, mate. That's all that matters. Yeah. But Roddy, what a career, mate. Let's go straight into it. 15 fights, 9 wins, 2 draws. You've had some tough fights along the way, Roddy. And and let's be honest, you look down the list of the people that you fought, and you pretty much fought everyone twice. Let's be honest, if not more.
Yeah, I like that one, Joel. Yeah. Listen, I turned pro at 29. Realistically, a lot of people could have argued, was that a little bit too late? Because I had 130 amateur fights, and my biggest regret, I think, was when I beat Steve Bendel amateur when I was 21. He was England's number 1, and I should have turned pro then. But I packed in for 8 years, and I did it the hard way. But listen, I have no regrets. I'm proud of what I achieved, and like you rightly said, Joel, I thought, everybody's back in the day, really.
Yeah, and we'll start off. October 2001 is when it all started against Harry Butler. Yeah, and you went on to fight him twice after that as well. But that was your debut.
I remember that. I remember that like it was yesterday. And you know what? I remember my promoter Pat Cowdell from Birmingham. He says, this kid's experience. Yeah, he had 60 fights, I think.
Blimey, what a debut!
Even though he lost a lot of them, records professional mean nothing.
Right.
And to be honest, he gave me a really tough fight, and it was quite close. And I think I just edged it, and it was great to get the relief of that first professional fight on your wing and the win. It was a tough cookie. So because he won me close, he asked for a rematch, and the second fight at the Burlington Hotel. What date was that? The second one, Joel?
Oh, blimey! Hang on a sec. I thought you'd know. Hang on a minute, mate. Let's have a look. But the first one, you obviously went on and beat him.
Yes, that's 6-2's first fight, and the second fight he had a draw. And I thought it was controversial, and I thought I boxed better the second time than I did the first, and it was weird. I had a draw, and everybody said to me, "And you come to Burlington Hotel that night, God, I thought you won, Rod." Anyway, it was what it was. Terry O'Connor thought it was a draw, so and he's jumping around the ring. My opponent, as if he won the world title. He had a draw, but we had it again, didn't we?
The second fight was in the same month. On the 31st. So your first fight was on the 8th, and then your second fight was on the 31st of the same month, and you got a draw on points.
Yeah.
Which it went all the way. John Coyle being your referee.
Yeah.
And then you didn't fight him again until quite a bit later on, which was the December 2002.
Yeah, that was at Shrewsbury, wasn't it?
And you won that one.
Yeah, the last one, because he had so much confidence because he had the draw with me. He fancied his chances, and at that time I improved a lot, and I actually I took him apart in that fight really, and it was one that like my manager at the time, Pat Cowdell, said, "Yeah, you've done a great job tonight, Rod. You see how much you've improved, and move on."
Yeah, and to be fair, move on quickly. You did, 2003. I'm going to jump ahead. Seemed to be your year, Roddy.
It was a good year, that one.
February 2003. Simeon, was it Kova?
Simeon Kova.
And you won on points to win the Midlands area super middleweight title.
No, they said that, but it was the actual British Masters Super Middleweight title.
See, mate,
Yeah,
box rec.
no,
Box rec's doing me wrong,
it's
mate.
all good. Well, me and Simeon are friends, and he's a great guy, and he was one of my hardest fights, believe it or not. Like I said, professional records mean nothing, and he was one of the hardest lads I've ever fought. I can remember that at I think it was at Billington Hotel, Joel, that we had a draw the first fight, and God, I'd never been hit so hard in my life. And I'll always remember it. For God, it was a really tricky opponent. You know, Dominic Ingles style, long arms, switch hitter, and yeah. So so the first time Joel had a draw with Simeon, and then we went on to fight for the British Masters Super Middleweight title, and I beat him by 1 point, which was just an epic fight, And I respect the guy so much.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, Roddy, you never turned down a fight.
No.
You're one of those guys, and I can't say it for everyone these days. We obviously won't, pick on any names, but people know who they are. But back then, especially, a lot of people took the big fights. Whoever came along, they wanted to follow that title route. They wanted to go down the right way. And whoever came along, they took the challenge. And times have changed, unfortunately. And it's about protecting the O these days.
No, it looks that way. It's gone downhill a little bit, Jolt, in my reckoning. Really, like you rightly said, I didn't duck any challenge. I knew my age was against me, Joel, and I thought anybody wants to fight really, and I wanted to get up there as quickly as possible.
Yeah, and what was it? September 2003. Conroy McIntosh, and you went and got the Midlands area middleweight title.
Yeah, Conroy was a tough kid.
Good title to have, Roddy.
God, yeah, that was when I first turned pro. That was my ambition, really, to win the Midlands title. And I can remember Conroy. He modelled himself like Nigel Benn. He could knock out with either hand. Oh, he was a strong kid as well. Utmost respect to Conroy. Gave me a great fight in Shrewsbury. Packed out 1,200 people in the Butter Market. It was an amazing afternoon. Yeah,
do you find the Midlands area titles and a lot of the area titles, the central area, southern area, do you find they're kind of overlooked now? That they're
I think in back in my day, 2003 onwards, is a lot more. Yeah, it meant a lot more than it is now. Yeah. Now boxers today just overlook that and just want to go for an intercontinental straight away, or even more. Yeah, it's a bit of a shame how that's worked, but like we said, boxers picking and choosing these days, and back in my day, I'd have fought anybody, and that's how the way it should be, with a winning mentality every time.
Yeah, and that's the sad thing, because a lot of the titles now, they're at the small hall shows, unless you're, even the English, only up until recently has really sort of started to come back into the big time. It's all about the British, the Commonwealth. They seem to be the lowest title to be shown on TV now.
And I totally agree with what you're saying. I think
it's a shame.
I think it's definitely a shame, Joel. But I also think it's for promoters, like the big fish, wanting the big titles and picking the opponents for them.
Yeah,
that sort of thing, and it's very sad.
Yeah, it is a shame that things have gone that way. But you were, as I say, when I was reading your, the way you were going, November 2003, Damon Haig, you won the WBF super middleweight title eliminator.
Yeah.
And the mad thing was, Roddy, I've got to ask it, right? Yeah. I've got to ask it. You beat him on that day.
Yeah.
And then this is one thing I can't understand for myself.
Yeah.
You then fought Damon Haig again for the vacant WBF World Super Middleweight title.
Yeah.
And he lost to him.
Yeah.
Now, was it the occasion, or did he just come in with a different game?
No. Now, the first time was amazing. It was a great fight, and I have most respect to Damon. He's a nice guy, and he stays in touch with me now also, same as all of them. He's a very strong kid. But I knew his style would be made for me. and at Derby Storm Arena the first time, it was a very close fight, but I just edged him, a really close fight. And on the return, I always, to be honest, Joel, any boxer will tell you, we always struggle at our weight. 11 stone 6, 75 kg. That I was just under the going to weigh, and then Dominic Ringle rings my manager, Errol Johnson, at the time, and he says, tell Roddy, drink load of Coke. We're now fighting for Robin Reed's vacant super middleweight title. And I've been struggling at my weight all the time. So basically, in a nutshell, what they're trying to say is, Haig's been over probably 12 and a half stone walking around, come down to a lot stronger. So they did their tactics. That's business. I understand it.
Yeah.
So the weight, as far as because his tactics that night was totally different. Grapple me, hold me, which is dead right. Don't give me room to box. But I could feel the strength. The strength was totally different, to the first time round.
I just find it mind-boggling because you beat him in an eliminator, and then you had to fight him for the world title.
Which is disgraceful. That title, first time, should have been on the line.
Yeah.
It's just one of them, and
it just seems odd though that he lost in that eliminator, yet he's still got a punt at a world title. Because today that would not happen. If you lost the title eliminator, you've lost your title eliminator, unless there was some sort of clause in a contract or something like that. Then it'd be different. But a title eliminator, it just seems odd.
Yeah, and I totally agree with what you're saying. I think, Joel, today that's called politics.
Oh yeah.
And that's it goes on a lot. Do you know what I mean? It depends who you're with, what manager. Like, don't forget Dominic Ingle and John Ingle and Brendan. Bless him. They've got a big shite. They've got a big shite, and it is what it is. And if I didn't have that rematch, I'm almost sure we never had my chance ever again. It's just pretty sad the way it worked out. The weight difference told in the night. No excuse. He beat me fair and square. I'm not arguing about that. But I could definitely feel the advantage in weight compared to the first time.
Yeah. Roddy, I love your honesty, mate. I love it how you say it as it is, because honestly,
it's only right, isn't it?
But honestly, there's a lot of people that even to this day they'll look back and they'll say, well, and you think, well, if something wasn't done right, I think sometimes you've got to say it or feel that you were robbed, because to me that feels like that shouldn't have really happened, that fight. You should have fought someone else for that title. But
Joel, do you know what? When I look back at my career, I should never had a rematch with him. Well, I beat him once. Why box him again?
Yeah, exactly. And for an eliminator,
Really, my manager at the time should have had more clout and said, forget it. We go with something else. But it's like I said, politics of boxing.
And to be fair, after that wasn't your sort of last opportunity. No. September 2004 against Andy Holder. Yeah. For the vacant WBF Intercontinental middleweight title. Unfortunately, you lost there. How did that one sort of play out?
Well, do you know what? I saw Andrew Holder beat Conroy McIntosh at Coventry Sky Dome back then, and I thought I had a great chance. But what I didn't realise, I very rarely ever boxed a southpaw, and he's a southpaw, really long arms. The fight was a great fight at Shrewsbury. I thought I edged it, but the referee said different and awarded Holder the winner by 1 point, which is fair enough. I mean, I look at it for, well, it is what it is.
Yeah.
And then it was a great fight, but...
And then we go on to a good friend that we both know, a cheeky git, to say it in the nicest possible way. November 2004 against our mate Donovan Smiley. Yes. Tough guy, really lovely guy though, really lovely.
I saw Donovan box well back. Even he would remember. I don't think he boxed somebody from Aberystwyth. And God, on that night, I said to my mate I was with, God, Donovan's a strong kid. But with the Ingles having the power again, Donovan was with Dominic Ingle, and it come about that to fight for the English title. And I looked at this fight as a really, after losing to Andy Holder, it's a last chance saloon. And like Donovan says, it should have been on Sky Sports. It was a brilliant fight. Unfortunately, I lost on a stoppage to a cut to the eye. It was a brilliant fight. It was what it was. And like I'm friends with Donovan. He's a great guy, and yeah, we've all got respect for each other. We're all old warriors.
Roddy, if you could have a rematch with him now, would you beat him now?
Yes, tell him. Yeah, no. We're too old now, Joel. We're too old.
Oh, I'm not going to go into ages, especially after seeing Holyfield the other day. But
that's embarrassing, wasn't it? But no, going back to Donovan Smiley, totally respect the guy. He's one very strong kid and a bit of a nightmare to fight. On you all the time. Yeah, it was like I said. Donovan said it should have been on Sky and that. And unfortunately, Terry Khan, I think, stopped it in the 8th round. My eye was too bad, right across the eyebrow. You've got to respect it. Doctors counting the night. I'm retired now. I'm healthy. And that's what the main thing is.
Yeah, exactly. 100%. I couldn't agree with you more. I think a lot of people always moan at a referee if they stop it. If the fans feel it's been stopped a bit earlier than it should have been. But at the end of the day, the referee's got to make that call, and they've got to do what they see is right.
Yeah. I've got to say, Joel, on the night, I was distraught. I was gutted, same as anybody would be. But I look back after time now, the ref and the doctors was right.
Yeah. No.
At the end of the day, they're protecting me.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the advice we can only give to boxers coming through now, isn't it? That the referee's decision is final, and what they do is in the safety of the fighter.
Yeah, a cut's a cut, and it was like right across my. It was a hell of I think I had about 15 stitches. So that says it all really. But even on the night, I was like gutted. I wanted to carry on because nobody wants to get stopped. Nobody wants to lose. You've trained months and months for that sacrifice for that one night, and I totally understand it. So, but they're in their rights.
You never gave up though, Roddy. That's all you can say is you're an absolute warrior, mate. And in 2005, June, you went against Andy Holder again.
Like you said,
there's a running theme here. There's a running theme here. For the WBF Intercontinental Middleweight title and the Midlands area.
Yes. So what happened in that? I boxed quite well. That was a rematch on his own turf at the Sky Dome, and my eye opened up after the second round. So I think I got stopped in the 7th, if I can remember rightly, and the cut was too bad. And another occasion, I think that was my last fight, Joel.
Was the cut around the same place?
Exactly the same cut previously. Right. So so that was curtains really. It was
that's gutting, isn't it?
Fight. Yeah. So at the end of the day, I did my best. I'd never give up. Like any boxer, always box to they physically can. But if the cut's that bad, it is what it is.
And like you say, you've come out of the sport healthy. You've got your family. You can't ask for more than that, can you?
No, and you know what, Joel, you're 100% right. And I look back now, I turned pro 29, was slightly too late, really. But I still had an amazing achievement where I did in that short amount of time.
No,
come out with all your faculties, it means a lot.
I'll take my hat off to you, and you're such a gracious guy as well, Roddy, and even to talk, some fighters you talk to don't even want to discuss their defeats or their losses, and a lot of losses can be a learning curve rather than a loss, and you've taken them all and then progressed on, and it just shows in your last 4 fights that you're made of metal, mate, to be perfectly honest. To go into those fights being knocked back in that first world title fight when you feel it shouldn't have really happened, but you pushed on anyway, and that shows a lot of guts and character. So
absolutely, that's me all over though. I just wanted to win and get these bigger titles and stuff, which anybody wants. That's boxing. You just go for gold.
Yeah.
And that's what I did really. At that moment in time, I did my best, and that's all anybody can do really.
So when you retired in 2005, Roddy, what happened next? What's been the story ever since?
Yeah, well, when I retired, I always kept involved in training people. So since I retired, really, I always had a small holding in Shrewsbury, the town I live. I always started off a couple of lads, and it grew and grew, I've been to a few different gyms around Shropshire. So now I'm in a place called Wen, which is 7 miles outside Shrewsbury. And now I have my own boxing club, and I pass my knowledge to these young lads, and who knows? It's hard work, it's hard graft. I've got a show on the 30th of October. It's these lads are working really hard, so I'm trying to pass everything on to them, really.
And how do you feel about training other people now? Do you still have that buzz for boxing like you used to?
Yeah, I don't think it ever leaves you. It's great now, and a lad does well and improves. That's a credit I take now. It's very satisfying, actually. We're still waiting for that Will Beaters to walk through the gym, but we're all waiting for them. But boxing's boxing. It doesn't matter what it is, amateur, professional, or whatever. It's an hard sport, and it's the hardest training in the world. So anybody, I admire coming for the gym.
Well, and like you say, you've got that satisfaction without being punched in the face now, which is always a winner, isn't it?
Well, I was that sort of box. I was a counter puncher, and I didn't really get hit a lot anyway, but it's all good,
Yeah,
and
no,
like you said earlier, Joel, them lads were very good kids, all of them, and I respect every one of them. So,
well, I'm going to pick your brains, Roddy, as I know you're a man of knowledge, and you've been in some tough fights. You're boxing. You're a boxing fan yourself. Couple of predictions I'm going to drag out of you now.
Yeah.
Obviously, the big fight coming up, not this weekend, weekend after. Anthony Joshua versus Alexander Usyk. Big fight. I know we're in a WhatsApp group together, and we see all sorts, don't we, mate? Let's be honest.
good opinions. Everybody's different. Everybody's got a different opinion. So, yes.
Everyone's got an opinion, but most of them are wrong. But what are you going for, Roddy? Tough fight to call, mate.
Well, it's not a tough one to call in my eyes. I personally think AJ has got extreme power, and to beat Alexander Usyk, he has to take him out within 3 or 4 rounds. I don't see that happening. I see Alexander Usyk going on late rounds to maybe even stop Joshua 10th round. I'm going for 10th round stoppage, Alexander Usyk. It's a massive gamble of the AJ can't take this one. He's a cruiserweight. He hasn't got the power. Skill beats power for me.
Yeah, you're right, Roddy. You're going to upset a lot of people, mate.
It is what it is, and I'm honest. So it's
100%.
I think we've only saw 50% of Usyk so far. How good he is.
But what about he's now a heavyweight. He's gone up to the heavyweights. Don't get me wrong.
Yes.
He was the king of the cruiserweights. There's no doubt about that. Fantastic. Yeah. But is that weight going to be a factor?
We'll see. We'll see. But don't forget, not the Evander Holyfield now. What about the previous Evander Holyfield? Now he was cruiserweight, and look how good he was heavyweight.
Yeah, no, true.
True. So that's a good point. And also, Usyk, he was amazing amateur, best amateur in the world ever. And cruiserweight, like you rightly said, people says he can't punch. Well, ask Tony Bellew that.
Yeah. Well,
we're talking about heavyweight, and in a heavyweight fight, anything can happen. Same, I remember Buster Douglas and Mike Tyson. Nobody give Buster Douglas a chance that night. But I'm giving Usyk one hell of a chance. I'm saying he's going to come and stop AJ in the 10th round. Too robotic, leaves himself too clumsy later on. I don't mean, if I am upsetting anybody by picking Usyk, it is what it is. I'm honest.
Do you know what, Roddy? I admire you. I admire you, mate. But so like you're saying, if AJ can get the job done, it would have to be in the first 3 to 4 rounds. So you're not writing him off. It's just the fact
absolutely not.
Listen, done early.
Heavyweight bombs, one punch all over. I'm saying to get Usyk out of there, first 4 rounds, job done. I don't see it. I just think Usyk's too slick. He knows AJ all inside and out. He knows exactly what he's got to do. And can AJ change tactics to suffocate Usyk to bring him into his fight? All to be seen.
Oh, Roddy, I'm going to be texting you that night, mate. Honestly.
And if it's if it's a 10-round knockout, don't forget you get a good price. Very, very good price.
Guy, you're a bookie as well. Another one, just quickly before I let you go, mate. Fury Wilder 3 and a lot of people don't even think it's still going to go ahead. They still think there's going to be another twist in the tail. But if it does go ahead, which I personally think it will, Fury Wilder 3, how do you see it?
I see Tyson Fury stopping him a lot sooner in the second fight. Sorry.
Yeah.
I think he's going to demolish him properly. Can anybody come back from a good hiding like that? I don't think so.
Yeah,
and all this trash talk of Dettany Wilder. Don't get me wrong; he's always got that right hand, but no, I think
he's in his head. I think he's in his head.
I think Tyson Fury's nailed him on the. He's a fraud, and the WBC should be disgrace themselves by all them years boxing nobody out in the top 5 of the world. They basically wanted that belt in the USA, and that's the politics of boxing again.
Well, a lot of people have turned around, haven't they, and said that Wilder could potentially be one of the worst world champions we've ever seen
in history. He's got the best record ever. Lost one fight.
Yeah.
We will see how really good Dettany Wilder is, but I can't see it. I think he's been found out, and I think it wouldn't surprise me, like you said a minute ago, if there's a massive excuse 2 days of fight, he's got COVID. The Wilder camp, do you know what I mean? It's crazy. It's boxing. I think as that fight comes closer, Wilder will he's come out with something ridiculous.
Well, other than those 2 fights, Roddy, what other fights are you looking forward to seeing this year?
Yeah, there's a couple of lads from Telford, Shropshire, who are really good kids. Liam Davis. And his brother Brad, really, really good amateurs, and they're fighting, I think, in a few weeks' time in October at Birmingham. So I'm really following them. So it looks like they're going to be top kids, and they're both unbeaten. So yeah, and I'm always watching boxing, and it's very competitive, isn't it? So at the moment, you've got loads of good lads.
But Roddy, I really appreciate your time, and thanks for coming on. As I say, I think you're a top bloke. The career you've had. We've lost Roddy for a second. He's just jumped out. Hopefully he'll pop back in. But we'll say it while he's not here anyway. As I say, that was Roddy Doran. 15 fights, 9 wins, 2 draws. For everyone that came his way. And just a really nice guy. Stuck in the boxing game the whole time, and gave us his predictions for AJ versus Usyk and Fury versus Wilder 3. So if he doesn't come back in, that was Roddy Doran. So thank you very much for tuning in, everyone. Hope you've enjoyed this one, and we hope to see you all soon. Thank you very much. Take care.
Are you ready?